My mind drifted as I was starting a rebroadcast. And I need to fix something. So forgive my distraction, brother. I'm
No, go
sorry.
ahead, Jack. I'm going to go to Trump. Quick message from Trump.
Bless him.
He's upset because he says the IRS is on everyone now. And thank you, Don, for letting us know that, every corporation on every land is subject to some level of corruption and flagitious deeds, defalcating flagitious deeds more than wicked in their lying, cheating, stealing, corruption. So let's hear from Donnie now, who's breaking news, gonna tell us all about the fascista that he's part of and everyone else, but of course he's there to save us from.
The article by the Wall Street Journal when Matt Taibbi, during his House testimony on Twitter and all of the bad things that the government has done, that is not a coincidence. It's just plain brazen and somewhat stupid. But even more brazen.
And I'm tired of these fucking liars acting like government is some monolithic creature, right? Oh, the government did that. No, it's men and women acting as agents for the government. So stop just letting these men and women, I'll do Talcott now. You're letting these men and women have their legal secrets, right? You're acting like these men and women aren't accountable individually for what they're doing or not doing, so we're just going to call it all government. No, it's John Jones. It's John Smith. It's George James. It's this guy. It's that guy. It's that one, right? So you need to start calling these fucking people out individually because this is a false paradigm of just saying government did it. That's for the slaves. That's to get the slaves riled up. That's to get the slaves disenchanted in the system. That's to get the slaves warring with each other. Because government did it. No, you did it. And Henry Kissinger did it. And fucking Joey Biden did it. And Barry Obama and all the rest did it with the help of the citizen slaves who signed up to be co-trustees with your corporate political body that you call government in the United States. So let's cut the bullshit, right? I know I'm going full sob sit on everybody, as they like to say, just like really clarifying the details of what we're dealing with. And folks never want to like really whittle down to those details where the devil is. The devil's in the details, and they just move right over that. The government.
Yeah,
so
Paul.
I see a finger up.
Yeah, we practice that here, and I think I've brought stuff to the table.
Please, cutting off Mr. Talcott. I can't have this early on.
Sorry, yeah, I didn't mean to bring stuff to the table.
Waiting patiently, diplomatically, and you just fucking barged right in.
I didn't realize he came back. It was a small screen. I apologize, and I yield.
He's never left. You're doing the whole came back, but he never left, right? So go ahead, Mr. Talcott, please, before you were rudely interrupted by this tribe fellow.
Let me start in the right place. I fucking love you, Paul. Was I ever really here, though? Was I ever real?
Is this even real?
I don't know. Hey, the reason I was raising my finger was really to enforce what you were saying, Paul. It's an ugly fucking truth, but you're pointing out the obvious. The devil has been leading the way. It's like, yeah, there's the devil. Look, what are we going to do? Right?
Right, but then that's the thing I always get on you about, you'll say, is it's not about what we are going to do because you see that I have not done enough. You as an I, because there's I and I, like the Rasta say, have not done enough. So we can't even get into what you do, what he does, what we're going to do, because I need to focus on the I, like they tell you at NA. Keep it in the I, dummy. Just keep it simple, stupid, and keep it in the I. Don't worry about them and they and him and her and we. Because that don't exist really at this point on all levels right now. On one level, it does. We're oneself. So you can't get, it's oneself as a consciousness. But as an individuated unit coming down through the dimensions, right, it becomes I and I, right? What are you going to do and what am I going to do? And then once we see that and we get results from that, what are we going to do? But it never ceases to be I and I. Because as soon as you start thinking that we shit on some level, again, there's a gray area. Because like I said last night, when we're in a community, it's our children, right? So what are we going to do? That starts with I, right? Because oftentimes folks will say, what are we going to do? And it's code for what the fuck is everyone else going to do while I reap the benefits? No, that's a... What is everyone else going to do to put their ass on the line while I get my freedom secured, supposedly? And then they'll have the balls to tell me, Paulie is selfish. He's not doing this for anyone else. He's just doing this because it's his kick. I go, first of all, I don't even look at it that way. I look at there's one self, so you're all me. What needs to be done for me, which is us? Well, we need to stop complying with these things. We need to start looking and feeling and behaving like this. We need to start communicating like this. We need to start showing these kind of results. And they go, man, the guy's got a crazy ego. I go, no, you don't get it. I see all of us as oneself. If I had a crazy ego, I'd say, shut up, slaves, and let me bestow upon you who and what I am. And maybe one day you could be as good as me. No, I don't do that. I say, are you fucking kidding me, you punk-ass coward? I know me. I'm a punk-ass coward. I know you. Stop playing with you and me. Let's get down to something here. They go, oh, man. No, that's the way Daddy talks to you. Daddy don't let you play games with yourself and him. He says, I know this game and this life. I know what I've done and not done. I'm real with you, son. I've made some mistakes. What the fuck are we going to do? When I come to my own father with daddy energy, he don't know what to do. He's such a spiritual child. I go, bro, why are you not on the land with me? Why have you not given up this debt system? Why are you rolling around town with a leased car like you're fucking John Gotti? Me? Get rid of all this shit. Get back to basics like you've been talking about. He writes a book, and on the back of his book says, one day my dream is to have a farm with animals and blah, blah, blah. I said, bro, you're so full of shit. I said, you talk about what your dream is and you're ready to die soon. I'm already living that, and I'm half your age when you were chasing money and pussy. I'm already living that and creating that. And then you want me to sell a book nobody's going to believe in because you don't believe enough in yourself to create your own fucking dreams and live them. Are you kidding me? Then wants me to push it on my broadcast. I don't believe in you because you don't believe in you. And you want me to have the fucking balls to tell these people to buy a book from someone who don't believe in himself, who I don't believe in because we're going to get to some money? Fuck you. That's part of the problem.
Money
They don't
would be
like
a
when I talk the real shit, Talcott. Sorry, I didn't see that you were going to speak. I was looking up. But they don't like when I talk the real shit that cuts through right through all their bullshit and their ego and calls them out on what they've said and done and not done. What they put on the back of books for the world to see and tell me to promote that they ain't living on. Are you kidding me? Like everyone's not going to collectively go, your son's doing all this on every level and you're doing none of it. And you have the balls to vote for Donnie and pay a slave tax and tell us about your dreams. You fucking child. You spoiled, selfish, self-absorbed, impotent child. Oh, man, it's so abusive. Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
I just want to offer the perspective that he's not done, and neither
Look,
are
now
we.
he's commenting down there. I take his money. See what he does? When they can't answer for anything I just said, they go back to the default. That if he gives me money to invest back in myself and who I am and what I'm doing, and he helps me, he's going to bring that up. So we've already went over that before, right? You're supposed to help your son financially and invest in him if he's investing in himself and going to do great things here, has done great things here. So you wouldn't know that, right? You're not like winning any points by telling the world that you give me, investments for things from time to time, or invest in me, or help me to get a roof over my head, which I didn't ask for. You came to me, right? He's the same one who says they'll use everything against you. No, I talk all the truth. You won't talk. Then you go to using things you've done for me against me, which you're kind of supposed to do. Some would argue that I didn't even expect and wasn't entitled to. I never went to anyone and said, hey, I'm in a tent. I'm doing so bad. When they called me up, I said, I'm actually doing pretty damn good in this tent. And they say, are you sure you're all right and safe and everything cool? No, I'm great. I'm liking what I'm doing. I'm growing stuff. Everything's fine. Then they go, hey, we want to help you. We want to help you and invest, in you and get a roof over your head so you could do a broadcast and succeed. So I go, oh, okay. And then half of me's going, you know, you got to be careful because every time you take something from these motherfuckers, they think that they did everything for you. Right. And then they want to play games. So everything he says he doesn't like, he does to me. Right. Then says that I do it when it's what he does, not what I do. I talk all the truth of what we done and not done that relates to us as being better, more powerful men and women. You talk about the shit you've done for people as if it's supposed to get you points for being an honorable man when you're supposed to do that shit instead of hoard everything you've got and let me stay in a tent, which I didn't even mind. I was actually enjoying. But your conscience got to you and you said, hey, you know, I've got way too much, way more than I need, right? And I don't even fucking enjoy it anyway. And I'm not thankful and grateful anyway. So let me actually put a roof over Paulie's head because he's a walking fucking spiritual warrior in a garden doing everything he needs to be doing for himself and others that I'm not doing. So, you know, good job. You just undid that in the eyes of creation too because you went and used it against me when it has nothing to do with what the fuck I was just talking about. So there's your problem. You think there's no consequences to your thoughts, emotions, actions, and speech, and you want to focus on all the shit that makes you look good and not focus on all the shit you've done wrong because you're not humble, you don't have humility, you're unrepentant, and you're unreformed. And you really think at the end of the day there's going to be no consequences and no judgment. Well, not from me, from that force. So you'll get it one day, just like my grandmother got on her deathbed, just like they all do, right? You'll get it. Your thoughts, expert panel? Lies. There you go. So he's written down there, this is what I mean. Now the triggered hoe, like 3 times. Lies, he writes. So sad. So we're going to do the appeal to emotion, right? Because he's a sad, sorrowful, disempowered man. So he's going to project that onto the situation. Situation is not sad. It is what it is. You can let it be whatever your internal space is going to dictate. So that's where you go, right? Right into the ego twist. So he writes lies 3 times, right? Lies, 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 but won't come up and rebut it. It's just lies, lies, lies. Paulie's always lying. He's been doing this all my life with the teachers, with friends and family. Paulie's crazy. He's on drugs and all he does is lie. And turns out some folks somewhere sometimes don't think that's the case. Actually, they think quite the opposite. You're the fucking liar. So I've been vindicated not only within myself, but within this sphere of influence, by the court of public opinion, and by the eyes of the Most High, if you want to call it that. We all know what I'm saying is true. That's why you wrote lies 3 times and said it's so sad, but won't come up and rebut it because you know it's true, right? If it wasn't true, you would not get so triggered and try to defend yourself. If it was really lies and I was this crazy and it was so sad, you would love me and comfort me and try to understand me, which you don't. You tell everyone here you don't want to listen to me and talk to me and understand me and go over the harsh truth. You want to obfuscate away from it and run or fight. So you are shown to be who and what you are like everyone else. Every time you speak, you convict yourself and you still don't know it because you're a fool, an arrogant, egoic, manipulative fool at that. Your thoughts, expert panel. Go ahead, Jack. He's typing lies and bullshit. Look at him, triggered. Lies, bullshit, lies. And he doesn't see as a grown man, you know, how much of a joke it is.
Hey, Paul, let me say this before I jump off. Much love to you and the family. Jack, much love. Tribe, much love. John, much love. I think I found out who Beauty and the Beast is between you two. Paul, you're both of them. You're Beauty and the Beast, bro. Don't ever forget that. Much love to you, bro. Peace out.
I don't know if that was a compliment or a put down.
Hey, I mean that from the bottom of my heart, bro. You're doing good shit over here, bro. I've been observing, bro. Trust me, you're good. You're good, bro. I love it. Trust me. Peace out.
Look, here he goes back with his broken hoe bullshit that he comes right out of the legal system. Thank you, London, man. You don't know how to have a civil conversation. What, where you lie, cheat, steal the truth out of a situation, misinform everyone, obfuscate away, deflect, and then try to put forth your manipulated narrative and truth, right? So, yeah, I don't know how to have a civil conversation with the Civilli cult who's like a bunch of fork-tongued, double-faced snakes, double-headed snake, right? Just like you, my father, are the Gemini, coincidentally, astrologically, because you're a two-faced motherfucker. That's the reality of it. See, I stab motherfuckers in the front. I've been telling you this shit all my life. This is nothing new. I'm just doing out in the open. See, you like to play both sides depending on where you're at, and you like to do it for your own personal gain, for your own appearance. I don't do any of that. I rather motherfuckers hate me, listen to everything I have to say, figure out if it's true or not, and go off back into their life to learn something. I don't give a fuck if motherfuckers like me or not the way you want to be liked and loved and appealed to and respected all the time, like you tell me. I have to respect you. No, I don't. You don't command respect because you don't keep it real with yourself and others. That's why women don't respect you and children don't respect you. That's why your government doesn't respect you. That's why the police in town have never respected you. Okay? They come there and take his guns, and he hands them over and says it's my fault. Punk ass coward. Right? Imagine my father saying somebody wrote up a complaint of us arguing or whatever it was, some nonsense, some Hitlerian dynamic where somebody saw or heard something, wrote up a fake ass statement. So the cops came over and said, well, nothing happened. We can't charge nobody, but we're just scared. So we're going to take your rights. So my father just gives his guns up and then blames me. Says, if you weren't here and you didn't live here, this wouldn't happen. So you should leave. Right. So imagine how it feels to be me knowing that I'm trying to stand on rights and freedoms, or at least at that time, understand it so I could live it and be it, because that was a while ago. So I'm trying to understand this shit so I could live it and be a better, honorable, respectable man. And my own father tells me I should leave so he can get his rights back from his government because he's a punk ass coward and I'm the reason he got them taken. No, the reason you got your guns and rights taken is because you've always been and probably always will be a disingenuous punk ass coward with no real honor and principles. Simple. Lies, lies, more lies. You're sad. There you go. But I'm sad, but you're on Jack's channel commenting on his restream of me. Who's sad? You don't even come on my panel regularly. You don't have real conversations with me because I can't have a civil conversation, but you'll go on Jack's panel every day and bullshit and do feel-good nonsense with him. Right? But I'm sad and it's lies. So you're on his channel watching a restream of me commenting through his shit right now for me to see. But I'm sad. And I'm lying. It's fucking laughable. But he supports me. He's my biggest supporter, right? You know, because he gives me money sometimes. As if at this point I need it, right? You know? So forget about the fact that I'm more successful than ever in every venue. He doesn't give a fuck about that. He just knows he gave me some money for a good portion of my life to help me at times when I wasn't working steady or I was hooked on drugs or whatever. I'm not saying I should have been that. I was completely fucked, right? And the reason isn't even largely because of me and him. It's a large part of it was the experience with my mother. So we both had to deal with that, right? But for him to be still this divided in truth and divided from me and playing all these emotional games with everyone else in his life and not just keeping it real with me and others in any venue, whether it's at the therapist, whether it's at home, whether it's on here, it's the same bullshit everywhere. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to talk to them. I don't want to talk about that. I'm not going to look at that. But everything Paulie says is lies and bullshit. He's so sad and crazy. He needs to be medicated from day one. 12 years old, they were running this shit on me to obfuscate from who and what they are because I call them out in question and won't behave. Paulie won't be civilized at school. He questions everybody. He won't come in on time. He won't submit to our authority. Oh, put him on drugs like everyone else did. Then he says he did the best he could. He has the balls to sit up here and say did the best he could when he's still not doing the best he can. So somehow we're meant to believe that at that time when he helped to continue the complete destruction of everything because he's a know-nothing TV watcher with no understanding of the world, he did the best he could. Right. Well, if that's the best you could do, and this is still the best you can do, then you got a lot to learn and a lot to do. So good luck to you. I don't know why you're on this metaverse like everyone else, wasting your time, energy, attention, watching me on Jack's Restream. You could just talk to me, but you all can't do that. So it's not that I can't have a civil conversation. You can't have a real and honest conversation because you're a punk ass coward like every other inauthentic corporate male in this motherfucker, in this realm, right? Not everybody's that, but everyone who is like that, you're just like them. Inauthentic corporate male who shows one thing and feels another, right? Who knows something about yourself in the past and the now and the future, but acts like you don't see it, tries to play stupid, right? You've done it here a handful of times. That's why you won't come up on this panel because you know I break you down and see right through it and give it away to everybody else because they need to learn too, and it's good content. And because I'm going to express myself and vent and keep it real. Right? You can't run from the truth. You can't run from yourself, especially your son. I am you. Right? I would be you if I wasn't your son. You don't listen to anything I say. You're not interested in walking this path. You think that I'm just babbling on some reefer because you're egoic, arrogant, ignorant. And I could bring 1,000,000 motherfuckers in here who were just like you that would say, Paulie's got it. And you would think you know better. That's your fucking problem. Always has been, always will be. Doesn't matter what the children tell you, the women tell you. Doesn't matter what anyone tells you. Then he turns around and says, Paulie's a know-it-all. If I am, where did I get it from? See, you fucked yourself again. Because you literally are that. I could bring Tribe up here who's probably more successful than you, but you'll get up here and say, I can't listen to Paulie and do what he does. I've been successful. You said that the other day. Embarrassed yourself again. Right? So you don't even know what Tribe does, and he's done some things he tells me, I believe him, with certain people everyone would know. So is he more successful than you? Does it matter what he points to, who he worked with, like Scott? Oh, he knows 2 Live Crew. So I got folks from all over coming here to listen to me rant and ramble, something you could never do because you're a know-nothing and a non-communicator. But still, you will not even just shut the fuck up ever, listen and talk back and be real and maybe think I might know something or be able to facilitate a growth in our relationship. But he'll go to a bullshit local pastor and tell me I need to watch him. See the games they play with you? He'll all of a sudden find a local pastor and say, this guy's so great. I'm changing so much in my life. You know it's all bullshit. Then he says, he tells me I should watch him. They'll constantly fucking disrespect themselves, the truth, the creation, their women and children with their egoic, arrogant ignorance and appeal to emotion and what they like and don't like. So no, I'm not going to go watch your goofy local pastor who hasn't helped you barely with anything for years now, right? Because I've seen little, if any, real change. Okay? But you're going to say it's happened because you want to believe that and feel that, even though no one's going to tell you that who actually cares for truth. So what does it all mean, right? Go ahead, Jack. I see you thinking and feeling a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe you have some thoughts, John, Tribe, others. Fascinating.
I was trying to figure out who that little guy is in your head that keeps feeding you that information that keeps flowing out of your mouth continuously. It's amazing. It amazes me. I was just thinking, I don't know what I was thinking. Just wondering how that information keeps coming. It obviously is created in you somehow, but I'm just speaking out of what I was thinking about while you were talking, Paul. I'm sorry. I'm not criticizing at all. I'm just wondering. I'm fascinated. Actually, is what it is. It's fascinating.
I'm just speaking from my heart, man. Like when you.
No, I get it, but the way you're able to create it makes sense as you let it just keep flowing. It's fascinating to me how it's done, how that's accomplished. Really.
Can I give a quick illustration? Think about like a magnet, right? A magnet and a piece of iron.
I got to stop you. There's my biggest supporter. There he is, my biggest supporter.
Well, is that in response to what I was saying?
He knows how to bullshit. Very good at it, right? So he wants me to promote a book that I'm going to make money off of. Why wouldn't I do that? I'm going to make money. Why? Because I don't do business like the Tao says with men and women who don't care for truth. So I wouldn't go into business with you because you're a fraud and a defalcator and you're a bullshitter and you'll turn around one day and backbite me and say that I'm running a horrible business, even though you'll be part of it. So you want to go into business with me and then tell the whole world that I'm a bad businessman while you're in business with me. That's why I don't do business with you, because you're an emotional dumbass who you'll want to lie and cheat and steal with the public because you'll call them stupid. Then you'll turn around and reveal to them everything you've done one day when you get emotional and then be my undoing. That's why I'm ultimately real and authentic. I say everything I think and feel and what I've been through, and I don't do business with men and women who don't care about the truth like you and Scott and the rest. Okay? I don't give a fuck if you're my father, my brother, my sister, my son, my wife. I don't care. I see you for who and what you are, and everyone else does who has discernment, and you are dishonorable. So how dare you tell me from a chat box, you coward, and this world that I'm a bullshitter and I'm very good at it. Come on up, coward, and clarify the record. Stop making excuses that I'm not civilized. It doesn't work here. This is exactly my point. I say they all say the same memes, and then he says the same meme. Paulie's a gorilla. He's uncivilized. He won't let us bullshit everyone while we call him a bullshitter. No, I'm far from that. John just told you he's amazed at how I just speak from my heart and look straight ahead. How am I bullshitting if I'm looking straight ahead? I can beat every lie detector in the book. I could go to court and be seen as honorable and respectable, like Judge Judy says. Look straight ahead. Don't look up. Don't look down. Don't look over there. Just speak the truth from your heart. What happened? So I'm just that good at bullshitting that while you look up and down and make your bodily motions that show that you're defensive, and you lean forward and lean back and you bullshit everyone. I'm the bullshitter as I look straight ahead and speak from my heart and give total recall. Not buying it. There's not a court in the land that would believe you. There's not a lie detector test that wouldn't convict you and set me free. There's not a woman on this planet that wouldn't get around you and me and say that I am immediately more respectable and honorable than you just off intuition alone. Because she's got the same thing in her as a lie detector test does. She's going to say, that motherfucker, he ain't that. Don't care what he shows me. He ain't that. Okay? That's why they get up and leave you all the time. That's why they always get up and leave you, because you ain't shit. They know it, you know it, I know it, and you want to keep bullshitting everyone that you're somebody and something. I'm successful, he says. Right. How are you, Mr. Wizard?
I am well. I just got back from the scans, and we'll hear back from them sometime tomorrow, I hope. So,
Hey, Keith.
greetings, everybody. Greetings. How's it going, Jack? Tribe? I see you had a busy day so far. You're still going to plan on doing your show tonight? All right. Well, I'm going to drop out here in a short bit to do a quick little stream myself. So I'll do that, but I'll be here in the background.
Good to see you, brother. And I'm sure the results, the data will come back to confirm what you know. Amen.
So you're just gonna come up here and then do your own streams when you're on panel with me and others, and it's like what is that?
I'm just
kind of disrespectful. I mean, like, we want you here, and I want to hear from you, and then you, oh yeah, I'm here, but now I'm gonna do my own stream. What is this?
Well, I'm going to do.
Everyone's forgotten where we've all come from. Remember the days when Wiz used to come up, yell and scream, freak out on everyone, always be here with me, ride until the end. Now he's somebody, right? Now he's a dancer. He's smoking cigarettes again. He's riding high on that bike he's got, and it's fuck everyone. Hey, I'm here, but I got other shit to do. Fuck everyone. Every time.
Well, part of the change is that I realized that. I've already got 586 videos out, guys. I've already done that, right? but a lot of those videos here lately have been very in-depth and in detail, and people just don't want to watch those. So I'm going back to doing quick little short ones to catch your attention on things that should catch the attention of anybody. Going to make people start looking stupid if they don't look back at the origins of what's being said. Because if you look at finance, I'll give you guys the first ups on it. Phi, F-I, comes from Greek, P-H-E-I, phi, meaning a defect in morality. Okay? And then you have Nance, N-A-N-C-E. Now, this is technically, it is the origin of the Nancy boy, the effeminate male that Paul always talks about.
Like my father right now, he's down there saying that I called Jack insane last night, which I've called him to his face. You're not revealing anything in front of Jack I haven't said to him. I don't do that. Everything I say behind closed doors, I've already said it to the person, so you all can't go back. You said Jack was insane last night. I've said that to his face, and it's half jesting, half serious. And I've been called insane all my life, so I guess he's in good company with me, huh? And you've been one of the main proponents of the theory that I'm insane, Daddy.
Yeah, you might catch on, Daddy. Kind of like me too. See, it's not about changing Jack.
People are disgusting,
you, son. It's about changing
people
you.
Are disgusting.
Yeah. So,
Wizard.
So it comes down to the simple thing.
Look at this. I've been telling my father. 1 second, Wizard. I've been telling my father for years that he doesn't know the difference between Y-O-U-R and Y-O-U-R-E. right? And he still hasn't figured it out, right? This is the genius who's writing books. Doesn't know the difference between you are and your, right? So, you know, and then he goes into like this spirit of his mama. Oh, you're just mad because I can learn from Jack. No, you're not getting it. I'm telling you, you're so lost and confused that you would prefer to go there with Jack, and that energy that goes on over there. I'm not demeaning Jack. He just doesn't have the same approach that I do. And I believe that my approach is superior. That could be my arrogance and ego, but many other folks agree. So why you always choose to identify with the thing that's closest to home for you rather than the thing that challenges you the most and shows you who you really are through adversity and who you may become shows you're a punk ass coward. You're like a comfortable little hoe. You'll always go where it feels good to you rather than where the real challenge and adversity is, where you can find out who you really are. That's why your ass won't stand for rights and freedoms. You're scared you might have to go to a jail cell and find out you're a punk ass bitch once and for all. And then work on getting better. Work on going past your fears. Work on staying centered and balanced in the eye of the storm. Work on making yourself your own best friend instead of your worst enemy. All criticism is self-criticism. Everything I'm saying about you applies to me, and I've been through it and done it, and I know the differences in the inner space.
Basically, for all you retards out there, he's saying you suck, and you need to get your shit together, and we will pray for you. We will pray for you.
Yeah, your life sucks. Overall, I don't give a fuck what you point to. You think you have that owns you. Your life sucks. Your personality sucks. Your demeanor sucks. Your conversation sucks. Your love life sucks. Everything pretty much sucks from where I'm sitting. And then you want to talk.
I know you think your wife doesn't suck, but I can tell you.
No, she doesn't suck at home, right? Yeah. The man is sucked everywhere but at home. It's like a takeoff of profit, respected everywhere but in the home. No, your wife doesn't suck at home with you, but she sucks about town, right? When she, meets different men who really get her activated, right? Really get her activated because she knows that he's a real player in this game. He's on the field, not just some inauthentic corporate male, punk-ass coward TV watching all day. Please, let's get the game back in its proper perspective once and for all, for everybody's sake.
Yeah, so
I can't believe
man, you get rid of the finances.
Wizard, you said you had some kind of a PET scan. Is that a species neutral cat scan?
Hey, can you tell my father to get the fuck out? He's saying I'm babbling now. He's been telling me this all my life. Paul, you're always babbling. My babbling has become my career. And some folks love it. If you're not one, daddy, just get the fuck out. You don't have to be on Jack's channel commenting where I can't put you in timeout like the little bitch you're acting like. So I can't put you in timeout. So Jack should time you out or just tell you to leave because that's common sense. You've now become one of my haters like everyone else because you're triggered by the truth. Just down there yapping constantly, saying I'm lying. It's sad. He's still doing that. Bringing up our personal financial affairs and other stuff. You sound like a broken hoe, little bitch who's triggered and want to bring up all the shit you think you can get to me with, and none of it matters. And none of it addresses everything I've said about you. So it doesn't work.
I've been trying to say something for a while, but there's a lot within, right? So, Paul Sr., I dropped the link over there and I encourage you. Let's seek some resolve. Okay.
He doesn't want resolution of truth.
Well,
he wants respect. He's told me over and over when we get down to the line, he says, the biggest problem is you won't respect me the way I need to be. And I say, you're not entitled to be respected if you're not respect-able. You're acting like a bitch again.
Well, okay.
You need to pray for that, man, and you need to have some forgiveness in your heart.
Yeah. Well, we can find ways on where the paths can meet. Okay. And here's the deal. Relationships, they're complicated, right? There's a lot involved, a lot of past, a lot of memories. There's a lot of shit at stake. But relationships, despite the challenges, They help us learn who we are. You and your father have many similarities together, Paul. Obviously, I mean, look at him to see some of you, and Senior do the same, but the differences don't matter. What matters is every day is an opportunity for things to change.
Tell him to come on up, Jack. He's still making excuses. All I'll do is speak over him. I will do my best, as I said last time, to not speak over him. So stop making excuses about why you can't communicate effectively and why you can't be truthful and honest and authentic. That's a you problem. It's not me talking over you.
When it comes to relationships in my life, guys, again, it's only because I accept nothing less than the truth. And it's people that come up to me and want to get a relationship and realize that I'm not going to put up with their lies, that they then dismiss me from their life. And it wasn't until I realized that my mom and dad were lying to me that I put it to them, and then they dismissed me from their life. Tell me the police are my authority. That is a lie to anybody. No policeman is your authority. None ever will be and never has been. It's all a fictional lie for control. And you take upon it because of convenience. That's why I tell you, you really don't want to be my friend, because I already know, whether you know or not. Yield.
So I need to thank Ian Clark and Jeremiah Johnson, Nicholas as well. Thank you for your contributions. Yeah, I put the link down there. You know, he's still, Jack, if you want to speak with me, I have no problem. So he's still, I can't deal with all the lies. So we're still acting like a broken hoe. So he's telling you that he's so disempowered that just me talking, even if it's lies, he can't deal with it. Well, he's got a lot of things in life he can't deal with. Where do you want to start the list?
Hey, Paul, here's where I'm at. Senior, I understand, and I encourage you to get past the opinions, recognize the opportunity. The benefits outweigh the potential consequences or quote unquote sacrifices, some time and attention. If you're able, use the link, or to prevent further distraction, I'm going to I'll either need to time you out or end my broadcast. And I don't think that's necessary.
He's still typing, and now he's bullshitting. He's saying, I've admitted I lie about him for content. I've never said that. Never said that. So now he's lying.
Well,
and he's still typing. Why are you typing like a bitch trying to get at me and reveal things that are not true? All I said was, I love you, and it's good content either way. Doesn't mean it's not true. It means people like seeing daddy and son argue, like Aluma Tommy and the Lagoon. They love it. All the haters love to see me argue with my daddy, and I'll give them what they want because I already feel this way and speak this way and live this way. So I have nothing to lose. All right. There's nothing to lose by me being who and what I am on and off screen. I've told my father I love him. I told him I want to respect him. He's not love able and respect able the way that he chooses to think, feel, and act and speak. He's proving that here today.
But okay.
And I've never known him to lie for content. I do know him to trigger for content, but I've never known him to lie.
Why would I lie for content? Now, if I tell a story, a comedic story about me being somewhere, I might embellish, I might add a detail. It's probably obvious when I'm doing that, right?
That's
like
what
I say I blew Jack the other day. Like if I blew Jack and rubbed his knees, trying to be triggering, like talking about gayness and being weird with Jack. So you're going to go, oh, he lied for content. He said he blew Jack and rubbed his knees. So because you thought that was real, I lied for content, right?
And that's one of those things that I said.
Huge liar. So we're just going to, is this like, okay,
right.
So
right from the start. And if you guys don't see it, I don't know why. because right from the start, that's one of the things I liked about Paul is he was so disingenuous. You couldn't possibly take him for being real, but there was so much truth in what he was saying that you couldn't possibly deny that either. I don't know what the guy's problem is.
And now we have another hater from the Link channel, right? He's not a liar. Just give him money. That's what he wants. Like everybody like couldn't use some extra fiat in their life. So like I don't charge anyone for anything. I don't sell anything. I have private conversations helping everyone for free. And then because I put a voluntary donation contribution link, I'm just a grifting scumbag who dare I make a living and not be back in at a tent or at a library like you and others, or part of a debt slave 30% a year system where I get used and abused like a hoe and cast out and hope to collect my benefits, right? Please suck my dick in public because you're not going to disempower me. If I have to go back to working, I will do it. And I won't pay the tax because I'll put exempt and I'll fill the form out properly and file it correctly and I'll give notice. And I will work hard if I need to make a living. So don't tell me about what my value system is because you're projecting onto me. Everyone's watched me doing policy enforcement videos in between door dashing while I'm doing other things, right? So I do what I need to do for me, and that's what a man needs to do. And I learned that the hard way because most of my life I didn't do that. He just keeps writing sad. Okay, you're sad. We get it. You're a sad, sorrowful, disempowered little man. Stop typing. Either come on up and talk, stop making excuses why you won't, or just stop fucking typing. It's an embarrassment. Go to therapy and deal with all your toxic, twisted emotions.
That's an idea.
If you're sad and sorrowful, there's probably a reason, and it's not me talking right now. It's you knowing something that either I know, you know, or whatever may be the case. Point is, I don't feel sad and sorrowful. I feel peaceful on the inside. I feel inspired and empowered, and I feel like I'm serving the truth rather than your ego.
Paul, both of you have deep care for each other. It's obvious, but
what he's saying is he wants to get the Justice League together. Hold on. Now, he wants to get you and your father and a few others out here from the metaverse, and he wants to go to the UN and end wars and suffering. So we have to get resolution here so that way we can get there.
it's a weak asset comedy, but there is some truth in that.
No, this is not the summary.
The reality, though.
This is not the summary at all, right? I've said this many times in the past. I appreciate the donations and contributions, but let's be clear, you could give me $1 billion and it's not going to change the dynamic that is. If you don't stand for rights, freedom, and principles and live this lifestyle, it's just going to be beneficial for me, which is cool for me, but the realest statement I could make is not cool for you, okay? And also not cool for me at the end. Because there's individual success and there's collective success. If I get $1 billion and I'm self-sufficient and financially free and independent and self-sustainable and everyone else isn't, then I'm going to be a victim of the slavery they're going to create and have already created and are exacerbating. So stop fucking projecting onto me, you fraudulent, worldly, reprobate, defalcating, grifting scum, what you think who and what I am. Because you don't know my ambitions and motivations. No one throughout my life ever has understood it because I'm not motivated and I don't have ambition for the same ways and things that the average slave does. That's clear. If I did, I already would have went and got the program and took these 8-hour videos and remixed them into shorts, and I already would have got to it because I know I could. And I just don't have the motivation and ambition. I already would have went to legal process, sued these motherfuckers, dragged my nuts all across the state of, and got compensated. But my motivation and ambition is not to be vengeful and retributive and make a whole bunch of fiat. But I know I could in many areas, and I don't.
And now he's on there claiming he made your success while claiming that you're not successful here, that you're a failure here. And that shows also that he has that ego that your success is dependent upon him. And that, again, is false.
But we knew that.
Right.
All
You just
delusional,
imagine
Father.
that. That wasn't said.
No,
Yes,
my
it
father
was.
did. He said right there.
Right. I saw that part. I made your success, but all the rest was just imagined and elaborated by Wisdom.
No, not by the context of
Right,
the
but
speech
how
that
could
he
this
actually
man
come up.
who've never done what I've done on any level claim to be any part of my success when I started this, he doubted me every step of the way, questioned me every step of the way,
Right.
and told me not to do what I do the way I do it every step of the way. I succeeded despite him and everyone
Well,
else, not
he's
because of
been,
him and anyone else. Are you kidding?
Paul,
If he was
remember the
his success,
teacher?
if he was his
Jesus
success,
Christ.
like he spoke earlier, his book would have been successful.
Yeah. Would have, should have, could have. Who cares?
Why are you
right?
identifying with my father, Talcott? It's so
Well,
pathetic.
tell
Right
you
now.
what,
Do you have to, like,
obviously,
do you have to
my
go recenter?
rebroadcast here, my rebroadcast has actually created an interruption into this, and this has been quite fucking unproductive. So I'm going to
What
cancel
did
the
you produce the
rebroadcast,
last few
and I'm
months
going to
and weeks?
continue on with
What
my
have
day.
you produced on your broadcast the last weeks and months that this has been so unproductive? What have you been producing that's so
Well,
productive?
Paul, I'm trying to fucking offer.
Trying's what happens when you fail
You
to do
keep
right. So nothing.
interrupting.
The
You
answer is
keep
nothing.
allowing interruptions. Your
Well,
fucking
I asked
channel
you.
is disagreement.
I asked you to time out my fatherly slave so we could move
Right,
forward.
and I explained my purpose was different than me obeying your controls.
Right. I also asked my
Right.
father to come on up and talk like a man,
Right.
like you're doing, and he's acting like a punk ass bitch. So where do we go with it if you don't want to be
Right.
interrupted?
Well,
I have to
okay.
now ignore him down there
Paul,
chatting like a
That's
hoe.
one option.
Okay.
That's one option. Part of development is learning how to ignore shit that doesn't matter. So, I came up here to join conversation.
Jack,
Mr. Senior, I encourage you. You're part of the problem. And it's up to you to resolve and identify your problems. And your problem, well, God damn it. Problem for you and Paul is a problem for me. I care about it. I want to see it resolved. What do we do, Paul? I don't know. I don't want to sit here and enable. I feel when I'm sitting here watching disagreements like this, I'm just fucking enabling it if I don't try and help. And I'm not an enabler. I'm a man of peace. I don't like this disagreements, particularly between families.
Like I said, all I can do constantly in every area of my life is offer an opportunity for solution and resolution. And he never wants it and will never take it because he's got all the excuses and reasons why he shouldn't or can't, because he wants to do things the way he's always done and get what he's always gotten. That's okay with him. It's not okay with me. And it's not supposed to be.
Paul, can I offer that? That's the same challenge I've been facing in many different directions as well. If people would understand me, it would benefit them. And benefiting them would help me. I know that. But we're in a world of confusion. And brother, I don't know what you do or do not believe, but I know apparently there's eclipse energies we're dealing with right now, and that can have some effect on our emotions. And this is a time for us to detach from the shit that doesn't serve us. It really is. You can't detach from those you're connected to.
Greetings, Scott. We're having a little dust up here with what appears to be my father. Could be an alternate, but I don't think it is. I think he's just an insane person.
Hollywood.
Can you not do that? Thanks. Can't hear you, bud.
Ad hominem attacks leaves a lot of shit out on the dance floor.
Right.
So I don't know. Just and it seems like, I mean, I'm watching Jack's stream over here and going, oh well, and he's saying your dad's saying more name calling, but you know, he did say he's responsible for your success. I don't know who rubbed your balls today, but you're the ones responsible for whatever the fuck you're doing. You know. So people have this problem of projecting onto people a lot of shit that they're, you know, quite honestly dealing with themselves, and they're trying to kind of grasp for whoever the fuck will pick up on it, and then they can throw it back and maybe work out their own shit. I mean, I guess that's the point of it. But you know, ultimately, you and your dad are going through some shit, and I'll tell you this: I lost my dad in 2005. I'd walk barefoot through broken glass into a burning motherfucking building just to give him a glass of ice water. I mean, just there's no measure that I wouldn't go to see my father again. Now, that's going to happen one day, probably for you, likely, Paulie, or vice versa. Paul Sr., you fuckhead. You guys got to come together. And now, you don't have to agree, but pick a fucking hour a week to stop this shit.
He can't handle my uncivilized conversation about raw truth, so he'd prefer to just avoid me and live his mundane life and lifestyle and act like I don't exist until we come on the metaverse and we're supposed to act like we're not in the same room and that there's a whole bunch of stuff that he won't talk about and address, but bring up a whole bunch of other stuff that doesn't matter in order to demean me. So he wants to act like a child. He wants to act out. He wants to demean me while I'm describing his condition because he thinks it's the same. I'm not doing ad hominem attacks and name calling. Calling you an infidel is a description of your condition. Anything else I've said is a description of your condition. Now, you can argue that I'm incorrect, in which case you'd have to rebut it. And when you won't, and then you could say I'm lying, in which case you'd have to provide the evidence of why I would want to sit up here and tell a whole bunch of lies about you and me and our family and risk embarrassing myself and everything else, which I really don't care about because, like I said, that's the content. So, yeah, you can't see the middle ground there of saying, I know the embarrassing, awkward, scary shit is the good content. It's also the triggering shit that leads to the work and the growth. So whether it's work and growth or good content, I'm there for it. You're not.
Hey, Paul, I love you, man. You mentioned conditions, right? Regarding the infidel, it's a condition. Well, it's a state. But conditions and states, they change. And those things are also based on perspectives. And our perspectives can change, just as the state of being. So one may be an infidel today, but with the right opportunities, they can become a saint.
Listen, you got talents. You know, all of you have talents. All right. And Paulie, I don't say you should stop being you. Fuck, you got where you got by being you, but you should put aside for a moment being Paulie. Proper fucking motivation inspires people. And you should go to Paul, your father, and say, all right, I don't have to call you an infidel. I don't have to call you a jackass. I know you're doing things wrong according to my belief system, but your dad's dad handed down this bullshit you're walking, and, well, it's ingrained in you, I guess, and there's no way to fucking change you. So I'm going to stop trying. And that's probably the best fucking path forward that I could suggest. Now, on here, I don't suggest that. Fuck it, it's great content. But if this doesn't get solved on the back end, and then maybe it's better for content, but I don't think you can get growth out of it.
Paul, is it possible for you to?
I can get growth out of anything. I don't know about him.
We're not talking about a penis, though.
Is it
Sir,
at
that's
all?
not what I'm talking about. I am in this for radical authenticity and accountability. I will say everything that
I
I've
buy
done
that.
and experienced, and it's going to make me stronger and better and more presentable to speak from my heart in any venue. So suck my dick in public. I tell anybody because I'm always growing.
Stop,
I'm always
stop, and
getting
think,
better.
bro. Stop and think. Have you heard all of his experiences though? Because there may be stuff that you're so fucking readily available.
I've
to
done it,
tell
sir. Would
everybody.
you like to do it now? We'll do it now. Would you like to
I'm
do it
wondering
now?
if he's willing
I
to
want
come
you.
up.
No, I want you and Talcott to mediate, but the punk ass coward won't come up and talk like a man. So what do I do?
Act like a man when he comes up.
Right. Okay. So I'll act like a man, whatever that is. You can all show me.
Well, a
and tell
little
me.
less ad hominem attacks. A little less
Right,
ad
this
hominem
is not ad
attacks.
hominem. This is a description of a mental and emotional
Describe
state and
this.
condition that we all deal with. If the ego can't get away from how it feels to you when I say I am you, you got a problem. You
Tell
must
me
think
that
I'm bullshitting. My father thinks I bullshit. That's why he won't listen to me, because he thinks it's all bullshit. He's a godless infidel. He thinks this is a rap for online when I've been talking and living like this since day one in the home on some level.
Okay. Let me show that. Excuse me, and I'll give you a second. Just give me a second, Paul. I'll give you this. Your dad, if he doesn't understand this, then has, like most people, the wool pulled over their eyes. Okay, and don't get the fact that Jesus died on a cross, and that shit actually fucking matters in a court of law. Reagan made it so in the 80s. 1611 Bibles recognizes the Word of God. This country is founded on the Word of God, and you can play with the system or not. It's up to you. But I'll tell you, Paul Sr., what the fuck if he's typing anything? If you don't know what the fuck's going on, don't tell your son he doesn't. You're supposed to support this kid. Who the fuck are you to go telling him he's wrong if you're not opening the same fucking books?
And I just wanted to say and ask, Paul's father, if he's listening, did you love this child when he came out of your wife's womb? Just go back there for
We
a minute.
didn't even want children, man. We've discussed this before. This is exactly.
I didn't hear that.
Right now,
He
you're
said,
stuck
he
with each
said
other.
that he had children because my mother wanted children. It wasn't part of his plan and his ego to have my mother have a stroke and him have to be the only one there.
Your
for me.
father's not.
Excuse me, sir. He's still resentful and unthankful and ungrateful and egoic and arrogant and ignorant because he never really wanted any of this. So now he's trying to find the good part of it. And he'll take the one little good part of it that's redeemable, which is this godly spiritual walk in faith, and say he did it.
Is your father the one that's not coming clean? Is your father the one that's not coming clean?
Are we doing this like? Are we?
My question is real simple.
Are we going to ask me the same thing that's obvious directly? So I give you the answer. Yes, he's not the one coming clean. Would you like? Then go ahead, ask me everything directly so you can get a read on me.
No. I don't.
Yes, he's constantly bullshitting himself and everyone in his life. Yes, he brought a woman down to get treatments. Yes, like on and on and on. Right? He's going to vote for Donnie Trump again. Yes, he's mind and heart controlled. He's in an ego twist.
What does it matter?
He doesn't know himself or the world he lives in,
I mean,
and he can't communicate effectively based in truth.
Can you let him be him? I mean, do you have to walk in his fucking shoes?
He won't come up. I won't even say anything.
I'm talking about right now.
He won't come up. He's a coward. He wouldn't go to the therapist office when he brought me there at 12 and 13 and said I was a crazy person. He wouldn't even come in and talk. He's such a coward. Don't tell me about my father and my experiences. I'm sick of it.
I had to walk to my therapist's office at 13 and 14. They didn't even fucking take me there. They didn't even go in. Fuck, my mom wouldn't even remember the name of the fucking guy. And he worked at their real estate office years later. So I don't know, man. I can just say this. The more vitriol, the less resolution. Period. End of fucking story. And if your dad has the fucking the love for you to come up, I think that he should. If you have the love for him to shut up, I think he should.
He doesn't truly care. He doesn't know what true love is, and his ego is too inflated to allow him to be real. What don't you get?
Enlighten me as to what true love is then. Hold on. Right now, what is true love?
Sacrificing everything for the ones you say you love based on what's true, what's right, and the next right thing to do. He shows over and over again he's not that.
How does that
that. Financially, he's that. But in every other way, he's not that.
And I feel
He
bad
will
for him
turn
not
on you
experiencing
and
that.
blame you when he gets put in trouble because he's a fucking coward.
Isn't that how most people are?
He will lie to get money. He's a coward, and he'll make excuses for what the lie is. Well, it was this and with these people. I don't care. You're a liar. You put something on paper and attach your name that you knew wasn't true to get benefit. You're a fucking liar.
Paul should come up. He should come up. You know, I mean, bottom line, if he's enjoying his spin on, you know, politics by voting for one side or the other of the same fucking team that's against us all, well, then let him do that. He doesn't understand, understand, get it at all. And that's not really your problem. To show him the way with a baseball bat ain't never gonna work. Now, peaceful exchange probably isn't either, unless he's willing to come clean with himself like you have with all of your fucking viewers. You're an honest person. You're an open book. You're not a fucking dickhead. You may be an asshole, but you're a fucking intelligent guy. And now if your dad doesn't accept that, it may be a little bit because not that he doesn't get it, but he's threatened by your intelligence. He's threatened by his lack of knowledge. He's threatened by his inability to respond to you quick enough to fucking say something intelligible that he'll get away with in his own mind without busting backwards 10 years. You've got to give him a chance. You've got to let him speak his mind. Maybe he'll come to that moment where he has tears in his
Why
fucking...
are you still telling me what I need to do when he's not doing the next right thing and stepping up as always?
Do you ever
Why
consider
are you still blaming me because maybe you have children and you haven't been the man you need to be, so you want to identify with him like
I think
Jack?
you're right. I think you're right.
Why
about
are you
everything.
telling me what I need to do as a son when the father won't be a man and step up and do what needs to be done ever? Cut
Paul,
it out. Cut it out.
Do you
How
ever
does it
consider,
apply to me at all? No, so excuse me, sir.
do you ever consider the fact that there's a possibility that he regrets not ever making that connection with his son?
He
he's
doesn't
attempting
show
to
it.
do
I'm the one
Well, let me
constantly.
finish. And he's attempting to do it now, but he doesn't really know how because of that ego.
Right. So we're okay. So where do we go with that? So he's. In
I don't know.
Right. So he needs to go to
Jack.
therapy. He needs to learn about himself away from his goofy bitches and paying for sex and all the rest of his life and lifestyle that he's lived all his life. And he needs to be with himself, separate from his addictions like I was and everyone else at one time, and look into himself and resolve himself and repent and walk in spiritual faith and truth. Until that day, he will cycle in confusion and embarrass himself and everyone around him and tell everyone he's successful. It's a joke. When
A
he
quick
breaks
question.
down one day, when he has to face his death like I and many others have over and over, when he sees all the things he thinks he has going away, he'll check his fucking ego and get back to what's important. But until then, this is his game, like so many others. He thinks nobody's going to know. He thinks it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to change. He's perfectly fine. His life is working.
Well, he's missing something special in his life.
I got a quick question here, and perhaps anyone else on the panel and Paul can answer. But you mentioned about a lease on a vehicle. I mean, does it seem a reasonable way of acting in success to lease a vehicle in your private capacity, Wizard or anyone? I mean, does that seem like a reasonable thing to do and claim success? To lease a vehicle in your private capacity? I mean, I'm looking for the benefit in that because I've never done anything like that. If you buy what you can afford and enjoy it, because you get pretty much a good value of a vehicle these days, however you want to slice it up, and knowing how to fix it's worth the lease and then some.
It's cheaper to buy another man's dream than it is to pay for your own. Just buy whatever you can cash. If you get into the paper contracts and bullshit, trust me, unless you know contracts and contract law, they're all written to benefit someone other than you or everyone.
Well, Wizard, what do you think about that? If you had a certain amount of, if you're going to put your signature on the line for something, do you think a lease in your private capacity is more beneficial than purchasing property within your means of your credit or your money?
Well, yeah, because buying is a transaction And when you do it on the private side, you're dealing with a transfer of assets. Everybody's been fooled into thinking these transactions we're dealing with is some kind of transfer of assets. Like when you go out and buy a car, that's a transaction. It never transfers the asset, which is the car. You have to correct the transaction so the transfer is made appropriately. And you can only do that in private. If you do it in the public, in the administrative courts, you're saying that you are under their administration. You can't do it from that angle. They will always be your boss, and they will know it because you will always show that you are duped, that they are the ones that you go to. You don't. You go to the International Forum, Humanitarian Rights, Geneva Convention, Vienna Convention. You have all of these protections at the international level without having to be a citizen. It's known as an ambassador of God with limited diplomatic immunity as long as you're on the same mission of peace.
All right,
That's
I got to stop you. So now my father's apparently going to go on and talk with Pineal Power. This is exactly what I mean. My biggest supporter won't come up and either give the good content or the real conversation. He can't do either when they're both the same thing. So, but he'll go and talk on Pineal's Powers broadcast with nobody watching and then try to force me to come over there. And it's just, this is how fucking inept they are in all areas of their life. They just don't get it with anything.
He's going to people that support you in one way or another to try to disillusion them even further. You know, and that's, you can look like that all you want, Jack. I'm telling you. The motherfucker sat down.
So he's going to now tell his sob story with no one there to rebut.
And took credit for his success when he has absolutely no success himself. How can you take credit for somebody else's success when you're not successful? That's the same thing as blasphemy. That's the same thing as saying he controls Paul. Bullshit. That's all psychological babble.
No, the point is he's been trying all of his life to control me to no avail since day one. And now he's even coming out admitting it. He controls everything, including my success and outcome. He wants to be God, not only my God, but his own God. That's why he's an infidel. He's been doing it all my life. That's his ego. All the egos want to be their own and everyone else is God and controller. That's the problem. So I'm telling him right now, keep saying so sad, right? How to LOL. Now we're doing the LOL. The little girl is LOLing because it's false strength. Oh, this is all so funny. It's not true. LOL. Every statement. LOL, so sad. Well, now you're LOLing even though it's sad. So is it sad or are you LOLing in an ego false strength laugh? Because you're insecure, but you're going to go on Pineal Power to talk about me and us where you can't be answered to and rebutted because you want insulation because you're a punk-ass coward.
And it's just like most parents. They want to take credit for your successes, but when you're not successful, Keith, the police are your authority. Fuck you.
I'd like to chime in if I may. I've been listening for the last few minutes, and I'm appalled, and I don't mean anything Paul's done. I mean all of these excuses being made, these old men making excuses for other old men. It's disgusting. And Paul's already doing better, and I've seen this in my own life, so I do connect to this, especially with my father. Look, when I'm already doing better, and I can only speak for me, when I'm already doing better, the solution to the problems can never be, hey, Benton, you do better, and we all remain losers, and a bunch of other losers are going to make excuses for a fucking loser. And I don't know your dad, Paul, so it's not personal. But that's the way I see it. Losers making excuses for losers.
This is what I said weeks and months ago. The Yurt was doing it. He realized that every one of these people is identifying with other people who are doing the same loser, unsuccessful, disempowering, self-sabotaging behavior they're doing. And instead of recognizing, wow, I'm doing that, and that's why my children or women are doing what they're doing with me, they identify with them and make excuses for them, verifying that they'll remain in the same place with the same circumstances. So there's a reason why you have a cycle of women and children who won't respect you and won't be around you. And you won't fucking look at it because it's triggering to your ego that you need a drastic change in your thoughts, emotions, and actions on many levels. Sorry, it's not everyone else but you when you're the common denominator.
And I'd just like to say that I wasn't making an excuse. I was just hopefully trying to identify something that your father might see and use to help himself. I don't make excuses.
My father has no deep, lasting friendships, doesn't know why, blames everyone else. Has
I
no
don't
real
know him, Paul.
familial connections where he sees anyone from the family, doesn't know why, probably blames everyone else or doesn't think it's necessary. Can't communicate with me or women effectively, women and children since day one, doesn't know why, thinks it's all of our fault, has excuses and reasons why we're all inferior. It's his fucking ego from top to bottom. He even says the ego's been the worst thing for him in his life. Yet when I call it out and show it to him what it is, he says that's not it. I'm lying. It's so sad. And I'm sick and twisted and I don't love him. And it's my fault.
So he can't see his own faults.
Right.
Right.
He's
And,
never-
and, and those of us that can, that's how we judge them is through their actions and their words, not through themselves. This is the spiritual judgment that belongs to God, but our judgment is in their words and their actions in a comparison. So when somebody sits there and says that you don't know me, I don't need to know you. I can see from my experience here on this panel your words and actions, just like I got on Jack about it. You know, same thing. I don't let lies fly at all. I don't care if you're his mom and dad. I don't care if you're my mom and dad. You stand there and tell me somebody else is my authority, I'm going to tell you, no, they ain't. You're not even my authority anymore. Get it right.
And I'd like to say a couple more things. I've got my own boomer dad, and we have a good relationship now. It took a long time to get there, and a lot of that was me setting very strong boundaries that he repeatedly attempted to transgress against these boundaries. We didn't speak for many years, and we only have a relationship now because he 5% of the way changed. If he'll do the 5%, I'll do the 95%. But you can't expect Paul to do everything. It ain't right.
Then claim that you're doing it all. It's like the opposite of the Tao. Tao says to do the opposite of that. He's pioneered a new spiritual practice of doing the opposite of the Tao. All right, it says good leadership is when folks are finished, they say, we did it all ourselves. He's saying when other folks are successful, he did it. So it's the opposite of leadership. It's the opposite of companionship and true honor and bond. It's complete jealousy, envy, ego, control, domination, and obfuscation, deception, while calling me a liar. He is the problem in the world and doesn't get that. He's been telling me I've been a problem for everyone and I'm a problem in the world. He is the quintessential example of the human condition gone awry, causing a problem for himself and everyone in this world with the way he thinks, feels, and acts, even down to voting for masters.
Hey, Paul, if you believe that, it's no fucking reason you guys don't get along.
Right, so I'm still asking him to come up here, and I won't even need to go into any of this, and you can stop me if I do, and I'll defer to you on my own platform that everyone says.
And I beg to differ with you, Jack, because again, a guy that sits there and professes that he's successful when he's not, and says that he's responsible for this other man's success, while at the same time saying he's not successful, that is a problem. That is why they can't communicate. Because one party is certainly disillusioned. One. Just like yesterday, if you've got 55 cents and one is not a nickel, what do you have? You have to think about it. One is a nickel and one is not a nickel. One is babbling and one is not babbling. I yield.
Hey, if you're here, Paul, and we're here, isn't this our room? I mean, like Mr. Hand from it's a little bit. Come on, you remember that Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Sean fucking Penn. If you're here and we're here, isn't it our pizza? I don't know. Have you ever seen that, Paul? It's one of my favorite movies. It's an old one.
No, it's our room until it's not.
It's your room, man.
You've never seen that? Like I want it to be our room, but it can't be that because we are not our. Right?
Well,
it's you and I sometimes, right? Like last night. So it is our room until folks go to showing me that they can't apprehend reality with clarity, and then it's my room because I can't entertain folks who want to like take us out into the nether realms of their imagination, like Jack says. Right? It's only so far we could take that before it's pure chaos. Have you not looked around? So I'm not
I'm learning
going to emulate and replicate the same fucking chaos I see out in the world here, only to a certain point to show what it is. And then I take the reins back over, much like the creational force does. It lets it go to a certain point, says it's complete chaos and nonsense. It's a freak show. And now we're done. We're going to refocus.
I think you do a pretty good job of moderating things, I would say. Not for nothing. You have an era about, or how do I say, aura about you that people are drawn to, because there's an energy and an authenticity to you that I mean, come on, you're, like I said, you're no dummy. And sometimes I think there's the, like I said last night, I think on your broadcast, Jack, there's the future, the past, and then the now. And, sometimes our frequencies just get fucking low when we're not in the present, in the moment. And I think, this doesn't relate to your dad or you at all in that relationship. It relates to all of us all the time. There is no fucking time. There's now. Okay, and all the money.
Listen, and this is real simple. We have an example to go to. Jack Talcott, regardless of what you think about him, comes up every day and lets me say whatever the fuck I think and feel, and he doesn't have to agree, and he may run off, but he's back again the next day. And they'll say, look at you both. You're both insane. You could say that. Maybe that's true. But the other side of it is we're loving, caring people, and the truth matters more than our feelers at the end of the day, even though Talcott says all there is feelers. That ain't true. He operates that way sometimes, but I know he's like me ultimately. That's why he's here. The feelers don't fucking matter as much as, hey, what the fuck are we here to do today? Okay? So that motherfucker down there is not acting like a father or a man. Talcott in some ways at least is. So I will defer to Talcott more than my own daddy as my daddy here on my platform, because he doesn't care what I say and feel and how I express. He's open to free expression. That's what he wants on some level. He may get triggered and get reactive and throw people out and get upset and whatever, but we're right back the next day, starting over, starting fresh, and putting it on the table and hoping, dare I use that word, that there's going to be some change and growth.
Well, you don't need to, you don't know, for all it's worth, and you should know this, you're a goddamn smart guy. So if you don't realize there's a lot of growth with that alone, I mean, just being able to walk out of the room and come back to your girl and go, I'm sorry, or let her say she's sorry and put it behind you is a very tough thing for the people out here to do. But if you want to do it, I can tell you it's the best fucking possibility of getting your life to feel like a little bit of heaven. Because if you're dragging around yesterday, and yesterday's dragging around last week, and last week's dragging around last month, dude, you're carrying a lot of baggage. And Jack, I'll tell you this, with your fucking mission statement to go to the UN, you're putting a lot of fucking shit on your goddamn shoulders. There ain't no reason to go to the UN. If you can get your message out right here, it'll have a lot more of effect than UN will. All right. But what's your message? You have to define that. Now, Paulie, I think you've defined what your message is. I think you just keep working on your delivery, and I think you'll be fine.
Hey, Scott, the guy down there says I have a 101 IQ. Well, funny enough, my IQ's on record. Ask my daddy. He was the one who wouldn't tell it to me. And if he'll say it's a lie, right? But you
were too stupid for school is the problem.
Yeah, right. So, the thing is that I suspect that he knew, that I was highly intelligent, and he got me tested, and it showed that, and it then destroyed his argument that I was crazy, right? Because they all want to tell you you're crazy all your life, and you got all these mental and emotional illnesses, but then you outcompete everybody on every test and in every venue, and you ask all the right questions and then have all the right answers if they don't. So you're not going to tell me what my IQ is on record. I may not even reveal it here because it doesn't matter. It's not an ego. The point is it's on record. My own daddy wouldn't show it to me. I had to find out myself because I didn't know, right? Like people always used to say, Paul, you're so smart. You're this, you're that. And I never felt that. So it only occurred to me when I went and looked and said, oh, I'm actually superior intelligence according to this metric. Fascinating. And everyone's been telling me that I'm either a dummy and or a crazy person and or completely dysfunctional. Maybe it's that this system isn't fit for highly intelligent people. What a thought that might be. Maybe this system works and is only fit for low level, low conscious, low frequency chimpanzees who can't get out of their own way.
Well, real quick, I've got some more stuff on the dads. Part of that, having a relationship with my dad, is he's finally taught himself not to argue with me. He's finally accepted I'm right damn near all the time if I'm speaking to him. And he's learned not to argue with me. Meanwhile, I'm seeing Paul's dad. Let's go have arguments with with a person who's really fucking good at arguing. Like, that's a bad idea. And I'm talking about Paul's dad here. But then again, you might have to exercise a little bit of humility, sir. Do you want to have a relationship with your son? You might have to teach yourself. You might want to argue. You might have to teach yourself to shut the fuck up and be like, I never thought about it that way. That's really all my dad has to say to me. You know what? I never thought about it that way. It's really all it takes.
Yeah, he's never said that, and he never will say that, it would seem, until he changes inner space, because he would never give me the credit, like he said, for success. He did that. So I'm intelligent because he's smart. I was good at baseball because he was. You know, I mean, even if that's true, there's like a truth there that then becomes a problem for you and others if you go too deep into that. So, you know, the reality of it is I've put forth many conceptualizations and concepts and perspectives to my father. And at times he took me to a mental institution because I was talking about aliens and different dimensions. Okay. So, you know, again, these are folks who think they know. When they're forced to question by the unknown, they get very afraid and insecure. Their ego expands and they start doing loss, injury, and harm, claiming it's the right thing to do. If you haven't noticed, we've been doing it the last 3 years. 3 decades. 3 millennia. Since the beginning of time. If you will believe absurdities, you will commit atrocities. And that's what we have going on here. You have absurd, nonsensical, nonsense-able people believing in absurdities, doing atrocities, and claiming that they're in the power position and they're successful. It's fucking laughable.
And that they're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Which is just fucking insane.
And we're doing the best we can. This is the best we got. Have you seen the last presidential election? A complete egotist, billionaire, banker-based fucknut, and somebody who's in their second childhood who's one step away from either being in the grave or an old folks home because he's completely senilic. That's the best you got out there, chimpanzees, for you to be your master. And you don't see where we're at, like Plato said thousands of years ago, governed by your inferiors?
Yep, wouldn't doubt it.
We're at the point of no return.
It's almost psychopathic.
It's beyond it's psychopathic, it's sociopathic.
It's insane.
It's pathological at this point. These folks do it without even thinking and breathing. Another vote cast. Another pathological, psychological, sociological corruption of the original.
If you're
Even for
your dad's voting for this.
Even for those people that feel they need a fucking ruler, wouldn't they demand somebody that's competent, for God's sakes? Jesus Christ, how do people accept what the fuck's being presented to them?
God.
Yeah, we're no longer going to use plastic straws and paper wraps. That's dangerous. You're going to use paper straws and plastic wraps, you dumbass.
Go.
When are you going to get it straight?
Insane, man.
I don't know. Healing the afflicted. Your mic or camera's not connected. You've been back there for a while. I don't know if you think I'm not putting you up. I can't put you up. It says no mic or camera connected. So I'm going to kick you out. Or wait. Yeah, I'm going to kick you out till you get that together. Oh, wait, it's Anonymous. Yeah, get your shit together, bro. It's Moose. It's amazing. Producer guy.
The producer.
Yeah, right. Everybody's favorite producer. Multiple shows and channels. He's all over the place. He's like Gelman. You remember Gelman? Gelman! he's all over. You never know what he does, though. Like, actually, he's out front with the shirt on and the earpiece, but you're not too sure really what he does. Flow hate. There you go. What's going on, Flow hate?
What's going on, guys? let me give me a second to get into a spot where I can sit down. I just wanted to jump in while there was a gap.
Right. He created a gap to jump into, clearly.
Drop down, shoot through the gap.
Bye, gap.
Watch the gap. Hey, Lou Bass says he needs Jack to unblock him. Why are you blocking Lou, Jack? Come on. That ain't right.
I didn't know he was blocked. I'll have to figure that out.
See, the whole kingdom of Talcati is crumbling over there. I mean, you got folks grasping for power. Jack's undoing now. Probably some moderator did a hit on Lou. He didn't even know about it. Talcott Castellano. He's got his Gravanos running around town breaking legs. Like, I didn't even know about that. I'll have to look into that.
He might just be pulling some Art of War shit, like look weak when you're strong, and
there's some value in that.
Sun Tzu.
I've been underestimated many times, and I've learned how to use that. But now my intentions are pure, so I don't really care. I'm like, hey, what you were saying, you guys said a lot of things and about what's going on. It's because people don't stop to think. That was a note I wrote down. All this shit going on, it's just obvious, but people don't stop to think because they've created a life where it's like fucking frantic. One thing to the next, just we've taken the good and made it bad, and then the bad has been twisted and made to appear good.
That's by design. They've been doing that for years, trying to raise your fucking frequency, raise it in stuff. I mean, you look at the what is it, 444 beats per minute. It should be 432. I mean, you want the God frequency, you need to slow it down. You ever seen what the frequency that all our music's being recorded at and shipped out, because it's fucking by contract and bullshit? You'll find out that a bowl of water sitting on a speaker will look like fucking tidal wave, just bullshit. But if you put it at 432, that shit's going to look like a perfect little lake with a drop of water that drops in the middle and it just goes back and forth in a little bowl. Just look it up. I mean,
That's fact. That's fact.
So our bodies being 90% water or 85 or what, 82, whatever the fuck, we're sitting here and we're taking in these frequencies that are running us fucking around. And not for nothing, I know Wizard has the machine. You're pulling one up there, and yeah, that'll do you some good. But you get outside, hug a tree too. Remember, the fucking grounding is going to help you. And I mean, we're just being tortured. You think we're just slaves, Paulie? We're not just slaves. We're out on the slave fucking plantation, and we're being kicked and beaten all the fucking time.
No. You're telling me I don't understand. You don't understand the nuance.
Okay, I don't know you well enough to say that. I shouldn't say that. You've been a member of this society.
No. Torture is a automatic part of slavery. Of course you need torture. You got to keep slaves in line. So when I say slavery encompasses a whole array of activities, torture being one of them, genocide is another one of them, right? Final solution activity, eugenicism, right? There's a lot of aspects to slavery.
And this is an RF meter. If nobody's ever played with it, probably everybody here is aware of the radio frequencies of your cell phones and your wireless devices and shit. But if you're not, take your cell phones away from your nuts sometimes. It's crazy playing with one of these and seeing how it'll just light the fuck up the minute it's by a router, a cell phone. Purple streetlights aren't any worse than anything else, though. Interestingly.
Really?
There goes my theory.
What if they turn them on?
That's a game changer.
Can we go to Watson? Let's get Watson in.
Great idea.
I'm real late on Watson today because we got into it. It's supposed to be first hour material, but I'm pretty sure this is an older one anyway. Yeah, this is an older one. If we've seen this, let me know. I don't think we have. Pineal Power, great job.
Your name is attached to everything you say, everything you do. Isn't that enough? How can you guys just be so loose-lipped telling everybody that you're going to show up as someone that you're not even prepared to show up as? I can't even stand it. I don't care how I feel. I said it, so I meant it because I value my name. You know who I am? Wes Watson from Dago. It's been like that since day one. I never missed every single day in the penitentiary. And people would be like, oh, Sunday, I'm kind of tired. You got to take one day off. I purposely made it my word and my mindset. I didn't care if I built a little less muscle. And guess what? I didn't build less muscle. I was way swollen than them because I took it way more serious. You guys need to take everything a lot more serious because when you're in that grave and your family's looking over you, you're either going to be a fucking joke or you're going to be the man who puts them in a great position with a bunch of wisdom and a bunch of just a great feeling in their heart about who you are. Why don't you guys understand that you need to meditate on your mortality every day? I know I'm going to die. I don't care about it. I know that I've left a good mark, but I ain't finished because the story's still unfolding. The story is still unfolding of what a man is capable of in this life. Do you guys have short-term fucking memory loss? Do you guys not realize that you come up in my DM from 2019 and then 2020 and then 21, 22, now 23, and you're still just fucking talking? When people come up to me, say in the gym or something, they're like, hey, Wes, I have this thing I'm trying to do. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Save your fucking breath. Until you show me the money being deposited in the account from your business plan that you're doing, then we'll talk. You haven't even started, motherfucker.
Doesn't work like that, dummy.
You're delusional as shit. It's the same thing with people with their fitness fucking goals or any fucking goal they have. I want to see measurable fucking gain. This life isn't based on what you're gonna do, bitch. This life is based on the results that you fucking pull off in reality. All this spiritual bypassing bullshit. Oh, this is what life's really about. Like, it's not really about all that. It's about both. It's about both, you fucking idiot. Why don't you get that? You can have both. You don't have to choose. I'm going to be way spiritual or I'm going to have nice shit.
Is there a reason why you're doing that? Is there a reason why you're doing that?
Who?
No, I think the person knows who I'm talking about.
Oh.
Can you hear me? Is there a reason why you're doing that? Maybe they don't know. Just unmuting, muting, unmuting, muting when I'm muting you.
Oh, my bad. Nope. Carry on.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, when we do the video and I mute everyone, we don't mute, unmute, because then we hear noises. Thank you, sir. Thought maybe you were like fucking with me. I'm like, please tell me Flow State is not fucking with me. He's not one of them. All right.
I would never fuck with you. I would
Can I interrupt, Paulie?
So.
What was that?
I want 17 guys. I want to just say that I want 17 guys carrying me. I don't give a fuck how big I am. There's going to be a fucking crew of people carrying my ass to that hole.
All right, let's get back to the video. If we could just have everyone mute up, it'll be a little while longer. We'll get through this together.
It doesn't, none of the shit matters. You guys don't get it. You think detachment from possessions is not owning any? That's just stupid. Detachment is not letting it own you. Want to know what owns me? My fucking word. And your guys' fucking word doesn't own you worth shit because I've fucking seen it. You choose everything else over the people you spoke those words to. Your son's just sitting there watching you. Your daughter's just sitting there watching you. Your wife's just sitting there watching you. And they're just like, didn't he say he was going to do and be something else? Is he going to do it or not? When I fucking say I'm going to do something, nobody doubts it. That's where you need to get. You need to get to that point where your people do not doubt your word one fucking bit. So that guess what? They start to follow suit. Personify the teaching and others will wish to learn. We're just teaching people to apply their vision and find the knowledge and wisdom to apply it. That's all we're teaching them. It's not anything that you're going to learn from a fucking book. You're going to learn it through application. Humans learn through application. They do not learn through observation. You can't observe your way into shit. You have to just start. And it starts with imperfect action. You will do it shitty at first. You will.
Right, Pineal Power and the rest of the folks, like I was telling you last night, and all the folks who come up in my Zoom since day one into the YouTube and tell me, Paulie boy, how do we do this? We don't have enough yet. I go, bro, I am you. I know how this game goes. I did it with broadcasting. I did it with everything. I just never got my fucking feet in and got them wet and started sloshing around a bit. So you need to take that attitude with anything you do. Just apply yourself, get your feet wet, start doing it, and then it will come. Right? Don't tell me you've been taking 10 years to figure out how you're going to not follow policy and code because you're not ready to deal with the courts and the rest of it. Who the fuck's ever really ready? You think I was ever ready when I did the best interaction ever, the first time I ever went out and traveled without license, registration, insurance, and plates? Did the best interaction probably I've ever had with a policy enforcement? I didn't need to be ready. I knew who and what I was and what I was not. I knew what I was there to do, what my purpose was, and I had a care and love in my heart for all of us. So that's all you really need. Everything else is just extras, right? It's just extra tools in your box. I'm not saying you couldn't benefit from it, but if you tell me you got all the tools in the box and you still haven't used them, what the fuck are you doing? You're doing it backwards, cart before the horse. Your biggest tool in your box is being unready, quote unquote. Many times we're not ready for our wife to lie and cheat on us. We're not ready for that new child. We're not ready to be thrown out of that job we put our whole life into. So your biggest power and value and judgment is going to come when you're not ready and how you respond, right? So stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, or practice being not ready and still responsible. That's where these panels can be good. Where you're triggered the most, where the harshest truth is, where you want to fight and run, you learn to be still and respond properly, right? So you'll take that anywhere you go. What needs to be done next? Right. I don't give a fuck how I feel about it. I'm going to do the next right thing and get a result and get a result and get a result. And I'm not going to call them failures either. I produced a result. If the man who invented a light bulb had to make 99 failures before he finally succeeded, did he ever really fail, or did he produce a result that produced a success? So this is about the way you talk to yourself. This is about the way you go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I don't even think that failures would be an accurate way to describe those things. They're necessary steps on to success. Like, you have to fuck up a bunch of times to get it right.
Like you muting and unmuting, and then cutting me off in the middle of what I was saying to repeat what I was saying.
No,
I mean, if you produce enough of those results, eventually we're probably going to get you right, like a lot of others here, and then we're going to do a really good broadcast. Sorry, Flow State. You know what it is. I didn't have a mama. Let me make some excuses like everyone else. I didn't have a mama. I argued with my father today, and I'm very rude as always. So I'd love to make an excuse that it was my father and not my mama. Maybe that's why I'm always rude. I'm just dealing with some trauma. But even this right now, there's some strange noises coming through. It sounds like demons / alien communications. And it's just something about it's throwing me off a little bit. Right. Okay. So I'm going to get back to the video. Sorry about that.
Your level, how you understand shit, your comprehension, everything behind that will be attached to your level of personal development. Why? Because you're able to discern between one and another. I can easily see where I stack up. And that's what most people don't see, because they don't have enough personal development to be what? To be fucking honest. They don't see the difference. A lot of people start on my program. They're like, Wes, dude, I didn't know I had that much weight to lose. I didn't know I looked that bad. Once they start to look good, they didn't realize they looked that bad. Once you start to make real money, you don't realize how bad off you were. Once you start to really drop the vices, you don't realize how much the alcohol and the drugs and the overconsumption of food and entertainment was deterring you from really feeling fucking life. I feel life. I'm alive. Are you alive, motherfucker? I'd rather feel the pain, feel the pleasure, feel the struggle, feel the enlightenment. I'd rather feel it all. I'm here for it. I'm here for life. I show up for life. So I'm okay with everything in between. You guys have seen me cry. You guys have seen me happy. You guys have seen me very fucking irate and angry. I accept all of that. That's the new level, is you guys are hiding. I've never seen any of you guys really just be emotional, either angry or defeated. Or I've even posted videos where I'm like, I have to show people this. I feel defeated right now. I was happy. It made me feel human. It made me feel. Why don't you guys realize you have to go after the biggest shit in life so that you feel that constriction of, damn.
And there it is, Talcott, like I told my father and tell everybody, and Wes Watson will tell you, comfortable with the uncomfortable. If you can't figure out that you already know it would have been good content to come up here, my father, then you're not living this process. Because regardless of how you feel about it, it would have been good content. It would have been real and human, and everyone would have got value from it. And if you can't take value from an interaction like that, there's something wrong with you. Because I always can. Talcott, whoever. Doesn't matter where it goes. I can always take value from it. I can always be peaceful after the fact and loving and say, you know what, at the end of the day, these are children under God, so to speak, just like myself. If you can't do that because you're too hung up in your toxic emotions and in the past, and you can't really be in the now and out of your imagination and do the next right thing that needs to be done, even if it's the best thing for everyone else but you and I, right? Maybe everyone else needs that interaction. Maybe it would benefit them to see us fight and argue and then say that we love each other, even if we don't agree and can't reconcile today. And that's been over and over and over again. You can't even give that away to everybody because you're so scared of how you're going to look, how you're going to be perceived, what might happen, what might not happen. You have so much attachment to the outcome, you can't even be fully present and aware in the moment, in the now, and speak and do what needs to be spoken and done. That is the problem. Your thoughts, Talcott? I see the finger up.
Thank you. What you're describing is accurate. Probably, I mean, let's go to the bigger picture in the scope of others too, right? Habits. We get caught up in our heads about the way we were and what we think. We won't allow things to change. And that's what I saw today. I mean, the opportunity's here, brother. It would be at least an effort, right? I don't think
there's... Again, this is a misinterpretation from my perspective because I've been who I've been this whole time, and many folks around me have been changing because of what I'm doing here and the way I'm doing it. So I'm not going to accept that all of a sudden I need to change who and what I am and what I've been doing. That's been a facilitation to so much growth and change so someone else can grow and change. That doesn't make sense. That sounds like cart before the horse. That sounds like we want to flip the power dynamic. See, the power is with me and working with me and it's flowing through me. It's not with them and anyone else. So if it was, they wouldn't be here and they wouldn't need what I have because they do. They need to get out of their own way and receive. Okay, so I'm not going to change everything I know about me and life and what I've experienced so someone else who doesn't have any of that can feel better. That's part of the problem. They've been having people around them been doing that their whole damn life or just leaving. See, most people don't do what I do, which is tell you to your face what they think and feel and then love you unconditionally and stay, but provide boundaries. They just fight you or leave. So I'm like, you know, doing everything that I can do, that I can perceive of, and everything else I think is feeling based. And there's a lot of feeling based stuff that folks would rather have happen or not happen. That's part of their problem. That's ego. Everyone has an attachment to an outcome and what they feel, and it doesn't matter because they can't do the next right thing. If we could do the next right thing, the feeling wouldn't matter as much because we'd have a result that would surpass whatever feeling that was negative we had. right? It would become our feeling. Wow, I did the next right thing. I didn't like it. I got a result. I could take value. We're way past now what it felt like before we did that process.
So, Paul, could that be there, the connection with what Wes was talking about, the measurable results?
Right.
And that it's got to be that, and then connected to, as you just said.
Right. But again, there's a measurement of what is true or not by the reaction and response.
Right.
So, I will sit here, go back and forth, and be response able. My father will get reactive. We'll both leave, and I'll then text him and say, and then he'll lie. I'll say, hey, I love you. That was a great interaction. It's good content for the people. He thinks I made everything up I said and wasn't passionate about it. No, I was right in the moment, speaking passionately with fire about truth like I have pretty much my whole life, especially when I started to realize the game, right? So I could step away from the interaction and go, I'm impartial here. I have no resentments. I have no guilt. It was all truth from my end with care behind it and passion, and it was great for the people. If you can't walk away leaving saying the same thing, then I already know that you're not happy with your performance. You're not happy with who you are. You're not happy with your presentment and the facts of the matter. If you were, you'd just move on with your day like I do.
Yeah, so the distinctions, the origin of those good feelings come from the measurable results. If that's the origin.
Conscience and confidence. I have the confidence that I operate so much from conscience that no matter what goes on, I just move right on with my day. My conscience is clean. Is yours?
Hey, speaking of, that's a perfect segue for me. I'm going to step out. I'm going to take care of a few things and hopefully reconnect with you guys later. So,
all right, Jack.